A lot of people tend to ask me what is my favorite video game of all time, and always give the same generic racing game answers, which is, I like F1, I like Project Cars, Assetto Corsa. And this is true, I definitely do. But it's not my favorite video game franchise. My favorite video game franchise is actually BIOSHOCK. I love everything about it. I love number 1, number 2, Infinite, all the DLCs connected to every one of those games. It's awesome in every way. It's a brilliant game created by an incredible individual that is Ken Levine. And it's so well done, I cannot even begin to explain how much I love this game. So, I thought I'd dedicate a whole month to it, stealing some ideas from Monster Madness James Rolfe and Disney Sember created by Doug Walker. I thought I'd do a whole month dedicated to BIOSHOCK, and since it's the month of horror and BIOSHOCK is technically a horror, I thought I'd do that. So, sit back, relax, and enjoy the whole month of October with my BIOSHOCK month. And we begin with the best game of them all, BIOSHOCK. I remember when this game first came out, I remember looking at TV adverts as a kid, and I remember telling my mom how psychopathic this game looked. There are like little children walking around with these guys in diving suits. It looked so weird and bizarre. I thought it was like some sort of twisted mind that came out of a guy who only sits in his computer all day. Which, I don't know if that was true when they created it, but still, I remember my parents told me I could never play this game, otherwise I'd get kicked out of the house. And this is actually a fact. But a few years later, one person that I knew at high school said you should definitely go check out BIOSHOCK. And lo and behold, I played it, and I fell in love with the franchise. But as the years have gone by, you know, BIOSHOCK Infinite came out, and a lot of other games have also been coming out. So, to this day, is it still one of the best video games of all time? Oh, heck yeah. Is it my favorite BIOSHOCK of all time? Well, let's find out. The story consists of you playing as a protagonist, someone with no name, although you later learn what his actual name is. Sort of, technically. You go and have a plane crash, which lands you in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean next to a lighthouse. This lighthouse acts as a beacon that takes you to the magnificent city of Rapture. It looks magnificent, with one of the best openings for a video game ever, until you actually get there and everyone's killing each other and they're mutated and there's big daddies and it's just one big psychopathic mess. And it's just the beginning of some of your bigger problems as the game goes by. Your objective is to escape the city and overall just flee as quickly as possible. So, is it really that good? Oh, heck yeah. The story's actually magnificent from every step way forward. You have audio logs that help develop the city of Rapture even more, and honestly, I'm such a big fan of the city, I love even reading the lore behind it. I read one of John Shirley's books, The History of Rapture, and I still think it gave a lot more detail of how this whole city came from this beautiful dystopia into a rumbling mess. It's awesome. And yeah, they do mention a lot of it inside BIOSHOCK. It has some references from Atlas Shrugged, although I can't really see too many, although there are definitely, some sort of evidence that indicates this in one shape or form. Now, I do want to explain a little bit from the graphical side that this game is definitely aged, but it's still a very good-looking game. I could get it roughly I can still get it around 60 FPS and stuff like that, so of course it definitely is playable in that aspect. But the thing that I love most about it is how visual and how crisp a lot of things are in the game. Like how everything is so relevant. Whatever you see is relevant in that game. It's a wonderful masterpiece, and overall just built to the experience. And the soundtrack, oh, where to begin? The sounds are so awesome in this game. In fact, if I just pause for a second, you probably can hear how amazing the ambient noise is. And then there's the voice acting. All the actors do an incredible job, from Atlas to Andrew Ryan to Bridget Tenenbaum, the rest goes on. It's just a masterpiece in terms of the way they conjure all these characters and make them so memorable and likable in some way, or hateable in this respect. So, with that being said, graphics aren't the most important thing. You need to have a really good gameplay. And overall, the game still pulls through. If anything, I actually think this part of the gameplay has definitely aged. It's clunky, it's slow in some places, but the combat is still intense. You'll get yourself into some seriously hard fights, and the Big Daddy ones are a mess to play with. I do find that in the PC version, it's a little bit better than the Xbox version in certain things. Like, for instance, in actual combat, the Xbox and PC version isn't too far apart, but when it comes to the puzzle games, yeah, the hacking, there's a big difference. Okay, I should note out, actually the thing I don't like about this game is the hacking. Instead of just, you know, the simple puzzles that you would find in other games, you have to, like, this water pipe type of puzzle. It's pretty cool, but it's also a little bit problematic. If you're in an Xbox, it takes forever to flip all the tiles quick enough before you short circuit. So, my advice is this. If you're on an Xbox, get as much money as possible from looking around the whole city of Rapture and all the areas around it. Use that money, check for auto hacks, and use that to hack your way through, because there's no way you're going to have enough time to open up all the tiles and know exactly what each puzzle is. As for the PC, you're lucky because you have a crosshair, so a cursor, and you could just click all the buttons as quickly as possible to flip all the tiles. And that's about it. The only problem is there's a lot of hacking involved in this game, so it does kind of slow down the pace a bit too much. But still, I like it. There's no problem with it. It's just, I don't know, I can see people getting a little bit frustrated. There are also some other things that I also really love about BioShock, and that's how the AI just interact with everything. They're stupid, but they react with everything. Like, for example, if you shoot someone with fire with your incinerate plasmid, oh yeah, I probably should talk about that. In BioShock you have plasmids, and they give you basically these awesome powers. At the time, no one had ever thought of this idea, really. So they thought they would interact it with the actual player, and you could shoot fire at enemies, or shoot electricity, or throw bombs and all that kind of stuff at AI. It's awesome. Anyway, to get back to it, if you shoot fire at an AI, for instance, they would run straight to water to cool themselves down, and then they would float in the water so that they would just, you know, pick themselves up later, and then they would react and try and attack you again. I don't know what happened, but it's one of the best AIs I've ever seen in a video game. So what I'm basically trying to tell you is that this game is it's old, but it's still wonderful to this day. I love everything about it, and I think I will continue loving it till the day I die. It's a magnificent masterpiece of how video games should be, and a lot of games today just don't have the storytelling, the gameplay, and the aesthetics just to meet up with that whole blending of playing a video game. It just doesn't really compile like it did before. So, I love BioShock, and if you've never played BioShock before, I seriously suggest it. It's probably my favorite BioShock title in the whole franchise. So, don't listen to me, go buy it on Steam, the Xbox, or for the PlayStation 3, or if they'll ever make a reboot, which I hear they're actually making a an HD render of it. Go ahead, buy the game, and check it out for yourself.